I have back Dharmesh, Sheth and Kaveh Solhekol raring to go, and we're going to start with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at Arsenal. Dharmesh is here. He was a January signing for Arsenal. Might he be a January departure? He's had a miserable few weeks.
It can't be ruled out, is what I've been told today. A January departure for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang cannot be ruled out. He's currently with Gabon at the Africa Cup of Nations, preparing for that tournament. If you just look at the timetable in the past month or so, he of course was stripped of the captaincy in mid-December. He hasn't actually featured in an Arsenal squad since then, and I'm told that if an offer does come in, then it would be considered. It would be considered. That's what I've been told today. That is one part of it, but then when you're talking about a deal for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, you've got to ask the question, who could do such a deal? Because you're talking about a player who's got 18 months left on his contract, and a contract that's worth £350,000 a week. So if there's a deal to be done, what kind of deal is there to be done? Is it a loan? Would Arsenal have to pay part of the wages? Would it be a permanent deal? Who could afford a transfer fee plus the wages? So very, very early stage in the window, very, very early stage with regard to Aubameyang's future in this transfer window. But I just wonder whether the manager, Mikel Arteta, if he had any doubts whether Arsenal could cope without Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. The last 6 games have probably shown him that they can. 6 games played, 5 wins. The only defeat came in, some would say unluckily, against the champions Manchester City. And in that time, they've scored 20 goals. So it doesn't appear at this stage that they're missing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Which might be part of the plan that he had at the back of his mind. Let's see how this goes without the main man, in quotes.
Perhaps. So if he had plans to say, right, he's not going to be part of my plans for the immediate future once he stripped him of the captaincy, and then said, let's see how we get on, maybe the Arsenal players and the squad have surprised Mikel Arteta. Maybe there's been a slight change to think, actually, if a deal comes in that we can deal with, that is good for Arsenal, that's good for Aubameyang, who knows?
The other question that a club would have to ask themselves, A, can they afford him? And B, there is the baggage, exactly the questions that are being raised. I was in Germany on the day that he moved from Germany to Arsenal. It was all about, would Arsenal want to take on the slightly difficult character he can sometimes appear to be off the pitch? If you're going to spend a lot of money, that's an extra factor, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you say that. I mean, sometimes when you speak to managers about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and people who've managed Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, as recently as 2 weeks ago when I spoke to Thomas Tuchel, he managed him at Borussia Dortmund, and he said, look, yeah, sometimes he had his issues, sometimes he was late, but he always came in with a smile on his face and you almost forgave him for it.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure whether the issues that Aubameyang is perceived to have would preclude him from making a move in this transfer window, and whether that would be a factor for a club to consider in that period.
Yeah, didn't stop Arsenal, let's face it. And just one more on Arsenal, if I can, before we move on to Chelsea. Where are we with Ainsley Maitland-Niles? Because Jose Mourinho is sniffing around.
Yeah, more than sniffing around, actually. We're told today that it's close now. Roma close to finalising a deal that would take Ainsley Maitland-Niles from the Emirates to Rome. It's a loan with an option. He's got 2 years left, so 18 months left on his current Arsenal deal. So if it was to be a loan and they didn't take up the option, then Arsenal have still got that security of another year, whether he would continue as an Arsenal player or at least they'd be able to get a transfer fee for him in the summer. He's only made 2 Premier League starts this season, so Mikel Arteta's obviously made his mind up that he's not part of the plans for this season, at least anyway, and so that deal is close to Roma.
Yeah, last Premier League start was 2 months ago, so clearly not featuring much in Arteta's plans.